of yesterday's math in case you need some help with 1203. And then we'll take a look at 1205, the lesson and the assignment for today. So it is Wednesday, May 3rd, and we're at the end of Unit 12. It was just a real short one. We're going to start 13 tomorrow. So we need to wrap up 12 today. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. And let's go take a look at first at the homepage where you can find those two videos. So if you go into the resources, yesterday in math, we went through the whole assignment 1203, but you have to go past the spiral review and down here to the math. And here's this was lesson 1203. And then yesterday was this assignment 1203 where we went through the steps. So take a look at that if you need help with 1203. Today, we're going to go ahead and go onto the calendar, go to Wednesday, the 3rd, and click on it. And you're going to see that it says we're doing both the lesson and the assignment for a Mod 12 project-based assessment. So let's go to the lesson first and take a look at that. Is my screen slow today, or can you guys see it?
You can see it.
Okay, good. Somebody said it was slow. Okay, so this is just a one-page talk about the project-based assessment. It's time to show what you've learned in this mod by completing 1205, the Module 12 project-based assessment. You can do it. Remember, please, to work without help from others, but actually, I really just want you to learn. So if you need help, ask for help. Here is the Mod 12 project-based assessment. You have to go to the lesson to find it. Review the rubric to see how you'll be graded, complete and submit the project-based assessment. So let's open that up. There it is. Let's go to Kami so we can work on it. And it's just more of the same thing we've been doing with these plot graphs. So it starts out, and I'm going to go through it with you, or you can work on it on your own. So what I'm going to do right now is make breakout rooms. So if you feel like you are the boss of this kind of work and you don't need any help, then you can go to your breakout room and work on this. If you think you'd like some help getting started, stay with me and I will help you get started, and then you can go work in your breakout room. Oops, maybe if I can get the breakout rooms made. So I'm just going to assign them automatically. And then again, I'll be in the main room in case you need help. But if anybody wants to go get started on this 1205 Mod 12 project-based assessment, you can do that now. If you want some help, stay with me. Katie recorded the length in inches of the ribbon pieces she was going to use for a project. You guys need a minute to get this opened up, or are you good? Give me some feedback, folks. I can't tell what's happening in the world. Okay, I'm just going to presume that you're there with me at 1205. So open up 1205, open up, go to the project-based assessment and open it in Kami. So Katie recorded the length in inches of the ribbon pieces she was going to use for a project. Thank you, Sasha, for the thumbs up. It's so cute. Use this information for questions 1 and 2. So here's question 1. Here's question 2. All of these have to do with that first thing. So here we go. So here are the length of ribbons. She has one ribbon that's 11 1/4. Does it tell the unit? Oh yeah, inches.
Hey, Miss Lois.
Yes.
Are we doing this right now?
I'm doing it right now if you want some help.
I don't have my notebook right now.
Well, get your notebook or open this up. You can open up the website, right?
Oh, okay. So, but if I come here, can I put on the assignment I went to class?
No, you got to do the work.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm not even going to do it all. I'm just going to show it to you. So here we go. Katie recorded the length of the ribbon pieces she was going to use. She had one that was 11 1/4, one that was 11 1/4, a third one that was 11 1/4. She had one that was 10 3/4, one that was 10 1/2. And then they ask you, first of all, which line plot shows the correct data? So they don't make you write it all out, which is kind of nice. You just have to pick. So I see 3 11 1/4. Let's see who has 3. This one doesn't have any 11 1/4. Where's the 11 1/4? I don't even see 11 1/4. Oh, here we go. That's because I wasn't looking at it right. So a quarter, if you double the top, double the bottom, is the same as 2/8, right? So 11 2/8 is the same as 11 1/4. There should be 3 marks there. I don't see it there. I don't see it there. I do see it here. That looks good. And I don't see it there. And those are the only choices. So that one you can do with the very first piece of data. You should be able to circle whether A, B, C, or D is correct. I'm going to go on to the second one. It said both of these are for the first set of data. Select true or false for each statement about the data above. The most common length of ribbon is 11 1/4. Well, let me look. If I look on my chart here, I've got 11 1/4, 11 1/4, 11 1/4. I got 3 of those. 10 3/4. I don't have any more of those. 10 1/2. I don't have any more of those. 10 7/8. I only have one of those. I only have one of those. So yeah, I think honestly, 11 1/4 is the most common set of data. That's going to be a true. The sum or addition of the longest, so sum equals addition of the longest and the shortest lengths is 20 1/8. Well, I'm gonna have to go look for the longest length. Let's go back to the top.
Wait, Miss Lois, I have a question.
I think that's 11 1/4. Yes, sir.
Is the first one like a question?
I don't understand what you mean, the first one.
Yeah, like the first thing you see on the page that the line plots, are those questions?
Which line plot correctly shows the data? A, B, C, or D? That's the question.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's the question. So once you decide that, you could even cross out the others so you don't look at the wrong one. Right now, we're trying to find the largest and the smallest numbers. So we decided that 11 1/4 is the largest. And I'm looking and I'm thinking 9 7/8 is the smallest. So I'm going to have to add those two together. 11 1/4 plus 9 7/8 for this one. And I'm not going to do that for you. I'm just going to write it down. 11 1/4 plus 9 7/8 equals, and you're going to have to do the math there and figure it out and see if it's 20 1/8, if that's true or false. The difference. So what does difference mean? It means subtraction, right? Between the longest and the shortest lengths is 2 1/8. Oh, now we're going to take the same thing, only we're going to subtract. So 11 1/4 minus 9 7/8 equals, you guys are going to have to solve that. Is it 2 1/8 or not? True or false? Part 2. So now we're done with the first set of data. It's almost like they could have drawn a big line here that was like, now we're going on to some different information. So that was the end of that. Part 2, a group of children picked oranges and made orange juice. The line plot below shows the amount of juice each child made. Use the line plot below to answer questions 3 through 7. Okay, so I've got quarts of orange juice made, and I've got line plot shows the amount of juice each child made. So this child made 1 4 6 quarts. These 3 kids made 2 quarts. This kid made 2 2 6 quarts. And the thing that I'm doing right now is making sense of the line plot. And you should always do that first to make sure you understand what you're looking at. These 2 kids, so the X's are the kids, made 2 5 6 quarts, and this kid made 3 quarts. What is the greatest amount of juice? So who made, like, what is the most any kid made? Well, that's pretty easy. There it is. What was the least amount of juice? Oh, again, here it is. What is the sum? So sum means we're adding the least plus the greatest. We're plussing it together. So we're going to take the least plus the greatest. So let's see, that's 3 plus 1 4 6 equals, and that's your answer. What is the difference? Okay, so difference we know is minus between the greatest and least amount of juice. The same calculation, but with a subtraction here. So this is 3 minus 1 4 6 equals, what's the difference? If the children were to share the juice equally, how much would each child get? This is a really hard question, so pay attention. In other words, if you looked at all the juice that there was and divided it by all the kids, how much would each child get? So here you need to know, how much total juice there is and divide it equally by the number of kids. So how do I figure that out? I'm going to have to do a whole lot of calculation. In other words, I'm going to have to go 1 times 1 4/6. That's 1 4/6. I'm going to have to go 2 times 3, which is going to be 6. 2 times 3, because there's 3 x's, right? Equals 6. And actually what I might do here is just circle my total amounts. 2 times 3 is 6. So I'm going to write down 6 right here, and I'm going to circle it because that's how much total there is there. I kind of like keeping my totals at the chart because it makes it easier. Okay, 2 and 2, 6 times 1, right? So that's easy because I just have to circle 2 and 2, 6. 3 times 1, that's easy. Now 2 and 5, 6 times 1, 2. So I'm going to have to times this by 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 5, 6 is 10, 6. I know that 6, 6 makes 1 whole. And then I have 4, 6 left over, which equals 5 total and 4, 6. You can leave it as 4, 6, or you can make it 2/3. But I'm going to leave it 5 and 4, 6 because it'll be easier to add all the 6 together. Okay, now I have these 5 numbers, 1 and 4, 6 plus 6 plus 2 and 1, 2, 6 plus 5 and 4, 6 plus 3. And I got to figure out the total. And then I'm still not done because once I get that total, I have to figure out how to divide that between all the kids. So let me count how many kids there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 kids. So it's going to be the answer to all those added together divided by 8 kids, right? So that last one is a really hard question. You really have to make sense of it and work hard on it. So if it were me, I would sit here and carefully write down 1 and 4, 6. Here we go. 1 and 4, 6 plus, oops, not equal, plus, what's the next number? 6 plus 2 and 2, 6 plus, what's next? 5 and 4, 6 plus 3. Okay, that should be 5 numbers. Is that right? 1 number, 1 and 4, 6 plus 6, that's 2 numbers, plus 2 and 2, 6, that's 3 numbers, plus 5 and 4, 6, that's 4 numbers, plus 3. Whatever that equals, and I'm not going to do it for you, you're going to then divide that total amount of juice by the number of kids, which is, how many did we say? 8 kids. 8 equals quarts of juice each. So we don't know what the answer is, but you guys can do the math. I'm not going to leave this here. I'm just demonstrating it for you. So you would have to add up all the juice, figure out how many quarts of juice, and then divide it by the number of kids to figure out how much each kid gets. So that's a hard one. Part 3, we're going to move on to part 3. So don't do the math on the others right now. Just follow along so you know what's going on or take notes. Part 3, a class of students recorded the amount of time spent on homework on Monday night. The times are recorded below in hours. Use the data to answer questions 8 through 10. Okay, 8 through 10. So this time we're going to have to plot it. We have 1, 2, 3 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So 3 times 4 is 12, a class of students on homework. So we have 12 kids. We have 12 kids. They all did different amounts of homework. We have 12 different times that they spent on homework. Make a line plot of the data shown above. All right, we need to find our largest and smallest amounts. I see 1. I don't see anything less than 1. So I kind of think this might be the smallest. I see 3, 3 3/4. I don't see a 4 there anywhere. I kind of think this is the biggest. Anybody see anything bigger or smaller? So I'm going to put a 1 here. And I'm not going to put the top one on quite yet, but I'm going to hope that we get there. So it looks like, do I go by halves or fourths? It looks like fourths. So I got 1 and 1/4. Actually, I'm going to go to my other way of labeling these so that it's a little bit easier. 1 and 2/4 or 1/2. 1 and 3/4. And then 1 and 4/4, which is 2. Then I'm going to do 2 and 1/4, 2 and 1/4. Then I'm going to do 2 and 2/4, 2 and 2/4 or 1/2. You got to be able to know that that's 2 1/2. And if you wanted to write it below it, you could 2 and 1/2. Here you could go over here and say this is 1 and 1/2. Because you know that. All right, 2 and 3/4. And 2 and 4/4 or 3. Here's 3 and 1/4. 3 and 1/4. Remember that we hope to end at 3 and 3/4. Here's 3 and 2/4. Oops, 3 and 2/4 or 3 1/2. I'm going to go below it and put 3 1/2 just in case that's helpful. 3 and 1/2. And 3 and 3/4 right here, which I think is our biggest amount. So I think we're good. We got our 3 and 3/4 and we got our 1 on there. Okay. Make a line plot with the data shown above. So we have to put all our X's in now. Be sure to include a title and correctly label each value. So do we know what it is? It's hours, right? Amount of time. Does it say hours? Oh yeah, hours. So we need a title. Homework in hours is going to be my title. I'll put a little title here. Title. Oops. Homework hours done. There's my title. All right, I've got all of this. And now I need to start plotting. So I'm just going to very carefully go through and put on all my amounts. 1 3/4, I'm going to put an X. 1 3/4 right here. X. Okay. And I'm going to cross it off to show that I did it, right? So you're going to go through and plot all of your amounts. I'm not going to do it right now. I just showed you how to do it. So like the next one I would do would be 1. Cross it off. Put it on the chart, X. You might even want to change the color of your X's. There you go. Okay, got those 2 done. Keep going, do all 12 of them. Make sure you get all of 12 of the kids on the chart. And then check to see if you've done it. Did I make a line plot? Check. Did I put a title on it? Check. Did I correctly plot each value? Not yet, but I need to. Julie says the most amount of time spent on homework is 1 1/2 times the least amount. Is she correct? Explain. Well, I'm going to have to know what 1 1/2 times the least amount is so that I know, and then I'm going to have to know whether the most amount is that much or less. So I'm going to go 1 1/2 times the least amount. 1 1/2 times, and the least amount up here is 1. Oh, so that's easy math. So that's just 1 1/2 hours, right? So 1.5 times 1 is 1.5. Pretty easy. The most amount of time on homework, then is it 1.5 hours? It's not. It's way more. So I'm going to say, so the most amount of time was 3 3/4 hours, which is way more than 1.5 hours. So she is wrong. Silly Julie. So that's what you have to do, is figure out what 1.5 times the least amount was, and then see if Julie is right. Daniel says that more than half the students spent 2.5 hours or more on homework. Liz says more than half the students spent less than 2.5 hours on homework. Who's correct? Well, let's see how many kids. Let's put a divider in. So 2.5 hours or more, or less than 2.5. So we need to make a line. Let's make a big blue line at 2.5 hours. So right here is what we're talking about. We're going to draw a line. And then I want to know if half the students, oh, that's not blue. Come on. Oh, come on. I wanted it blue. So I want to know, and I haven't put my plots in yet. So when you get yours done, what you want to know is half the students is, so there's 12 kids. So that's 6 kids. Are there 6 X's on this side or on this side? Who's right? Are there 6 X's that are more than 2.5 or more? Or are there 6 X's that are 2.5 or less? How many kids here? How many X's, right? Is the big mystery. How many X's here? How many X's here? So the big question is, are there more kids who spent, do we have 6 or more kids on this side or on this side? 6 or more or less? Because we want to know if half the kids, 6 or more or less. That's the big question here. And I'm not going to answer that for you. And then you have to explain. Okay? That is it. That is your Mod 12 project assessment. So I'm going to stop my share now. And you guys need to work on it.